I'm John and welcome to S-Run. Now today we're going to be looking at a fairly new running shoe from Mizuno, which is the Wave Rebellion Pro 3. Now there is a Wave Rebellion Pro 3 Low, which is a lower stack than this shoe. So let's just get this out of the box now. I've not tried the shoe and let's get our first impressions of the Wave Rebellion Pro number 3. Boxed. So these are the Wave Rebellion Pro number 3. Now I do have the Wave Rebellion Pro number 1, which is this thing here. Now I absolutely loved this shoe when it came out. I don't think it got enough love. Caused a little bit of a stir due to the nature of the shoe and kind of how it looks. Also, there's a 51mm maximum height in the shoe in the midfoot. Now, the reason why this can get away with being a race legal shoe is because of the cutout and because it slopes towards the back. So when you measure the actual stack height of the shoe, it's not 51, it's 51 at its highest point. So this is a road legal shoe. So just taking out the Wave Rebellion Pro number 3, we'll take that out just there. So what immediately strikes me about the Wave Rebellion Pro number 3 is the stack height. Now I missed the Pro number 2 for no particular reason. I just have lots of shoes and I just didn't get the opportunity to look at the version number 2. So I've got no comparison. I can only compare with the original to the latest version of the shoe. Now immediately what is apparent is the stack height is definitely higher. Some of the stats, and maybe let's do a comparison between the original and the number 3. So the number 3, the maximum height in the stack of the shoe is 61. Now that is quite a big old stack here, and you can see that in this area just here. So the toe is a 57mm. There's a carbon, so there's a kind of mixed plate in here. I think it's more of a kind of Carb-X kind of mixed TPU mixed with some carbon plate in there, which is not a bad thing. This weighs about 225 grams, so 7.9 ounces, and this is an engineer mesh. I will talk about that mesh in a second because that definitely looks like it's really improved. There is a resin outside, which is like a G3. Now I've heard, and I can't wait to test this, that this is kind of the best grip in the running game. So I am looking forward to testing that out. So the foam in here is a kind of new foam. It's an Energy XP foam, which is a nitrogen infused supercritical foam, which is easy for me to say. So the Wave Rebellion Pro 3 retails in the UK at £209, which definitely puts this in that top tier of running shoes. Maybe not top tier, because now you are pushing about 280, 250 pounds for a running shoe now, but this is definitely not an insignificant amount of money to be paying for a running shoe. The Wave Rebellion Pro number 3 compared to version number 1. Now it doesn't look, in terms of stack height, that there's too much between them. I think it's just because of the eye test here, where you've got kind of two sections here. This is a whole slab of a white foam, and this is a kind of that orange and white foam here. Now maybe it does look slightly bigger in this kind of heel section here, where it definitely is at its widest point of 61mm, which is huge compared to I think it's about 51 in this maximum point here. So there's definitely increased in the stack height. Now the Wave Rebellion Pro number 1 weighed about 7.7 ounces, I think about 220 grams. So it's a slightly lighter shoe than the number 3. There is a carbon plate in here. I don't think this is a full carbon plate again in the Wave Rebellion Pro number 1. This is an Energy Light PBA foam here. So there are two foams in here. So you've got kind of that kind of like TP or TPU foam, and then you've got a PBA mixed foam that kind of sits in there that makes it quite a soft shoe. Heel at its lowest point is 39mm, and then forefoot is about 35 on that as well. So I raced the shoe in a half marathon, the number 1. It's a very aggressive, very on your forefoot to midfoot striker shoe. Definitely does not suit a heel striker whatsoever. I don't think the shoe gets enough love. I think that it's a very specific shoe to a very specific sort of runner, which I do run on my forefoot to the midfoot, and I did do my fastest 10k in this shoe, about 35:30. That was during a half marathon, and I think on that half I did about 1:18 on that half. So this is definitely a good quick shoe, a very aggressive shoe. So I'm expecting really much the same of this Wave Rebellion Pro number 3. Hopefully this foam, it looks like this foam from what I've read is changed from the number 1. So I'm looking forward to seeing how aggressive this shoe actually is. Let's talk about the upper now of this number 1. So one of the biggest letdowns for me on this number 1 was this upper. So when this came out, this was about £130, so not an insignificant amount of money to spend on a shoe. But compared to other super shoes, this was a lot lower price. Now, the one thing that disappointed me within this shoe were two main things. Was this upper. Whilst I like the upper itself is fine. It does feel a bit on the cheaper side. However, the lockdown and the heel on the shoe were not great. The upper was this tongue. This is a separate tongue, and one of the things I found about this upper was it kept moving from side to side, which is really irritating when you're on a run. Now, not that it caused me any sort of pain or rubbed on top of the foot. It was just annoying, just because you could just tell and you could just feel. So it would really put you off your run. Laces wise, again, you know, they're perfectly fine, but you know, nothing amazing. Heel counter was perfectly fine. You know, again, nothing spectacular in this heel counter section here. So just a kind of really basic upper. Fast forward to this number 3, and I can already see the improvement in this upper. So this upper looks more of a super shoe upper. This is an engineered mesh, and you can definitely see and feel the difference between both shoes. Now this is now over 200. This is now over a 200-pound shoe. This is a £150 shoe when it came out. Obviously, there's a £59 between them. I don't know yet if that £59 is in the shoe, but the upper already looks like a nicer upper. These laces look like they are definitely better. The one thing you can now do in this shoe that you couldn't do in this shoe, or what you can do in the number 3, you couldn't do in the number 1, is a runner's knot. So the tongue on the Wave Rebellion Pro 3 looks like a different material and slightly shorter than the one on the Rebellion Pro number 1. It's different material. So I'm hoping that they fixed the issue with the tongue kind of sitting nice and flush on top of your forefoot. One thing is nice to see is that there is a heel insert in there. So I wonder how that's going to feel against the foot. There was no section in the number 1, that kind of padded section there, and these did rub slightly. So these did actually rub. So I'm hoping that fixes that issue. There's a little piece there, a little plasticky sort of piece there that kind of fits together there in that Achilles heel section there for the support, and it's slightly changed. It doesn't feel so plasticky. Obviously, I think it's probably a little bit of cardboard or something there. So that goes all the way up to the back of the Achilles there, and you have the extra padded support. So that's really nice to see. On the outside of this resin new G3 is supposed to be really good and the best in the game, so I'm looking forward to testing that. One disappointment for me is I love the cutouts on the number 1. As a talking point, I think is absolutely fantastic. Not that all talking points in running shoes are always good, and I think sometimes brands do things for the sake of it, but I really liked this cutout, and just such a futuristic looking shoe, and in my opinion a really underrated, a really good, really fast shoe. So I'm a little disappointed in some respects not to see that here, or see kind of that advancement in that cutout bit here. Surprisingly, not really an issue for stones. I've never really got any stones stuck in the Wave Rebellion Pro number 1. There are some cutouts in the shoe. You do have this one down the middle here where you can see that Mizuno wave plate just in there. You can see some of it on the side there. So cutouts are there to the side, but I just think as a talking point, as an interesting piece there, I think that the design and the cutouts on the number 1 I just think look a little bit better than the number 3. Toe box is looking much wider on the number 3 as well. Now I'm okay, I have narrow but kind of size 9 feet. They are narrow, so I had no problems in the version 1 with the toe box. Absolutely no problems at all. Now it looks much wider on the version 3, which if you do have wider feet, you may be able to now put your actual feet in the Wave Rebellion Pro number 3. Also the colorway of this shoe, when the number 1 came out, you could get this zebra style pattern, which I couldn't get. I really like that. Instead I went for this kind of fiery red. I actually really like this as well. I think their colorway is definitely improved with this. I like this. I like this blue. I like how it looks. Not that aesthetically colors really bother me too much, but just in case you are, there are other colors in the Wave Rebellion Pro number 3. I'm going to get this out and let you know my first thoughts on the Wave Rebellion Pro number 3. On that note, please don't forget to like, favorite and subscribe. Please press the bell icon to let you know when we post a new video, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.